What's up, everybody? Okay, let's get busy with it. Now, there's something I failed to tell you about this and or thing and which way the inequalities point and all that. We'll talk about it here in 2 seconds. Hey, look, there's the number 2. When we're determining, ooh, that's the letter Z, whether we're going to be using and or, there's something I failed to mention. And that's what we're about to get at. I think in the last problem, we looked at the problem, we said, oh, look, it's an arrow and it's pointing to the right. Let's use or. Well, not just yet. Wait a minute. Okay, we can't just do that just yet. We got to get it in the form, right? And that form is usually ax plus b is greater than or equal to, let's say, c. Okay, so that's the form we're looking at before we can actually make that determination. All right, but let's get rid of that. How do I do that? Cut that out. Cut it out. All right, but we got to get it in that form first, and then we can talk about it. Because there might be a negative out here in the front of this 2 here, and that's going to throw everything off. Okay? All right, first thing we're going to do is let's take this 5 over to the right, or let's say we are subtracting 5 from both sides. So 13 minus 5 is 8. Okay, now what we can do is multiply. Now I've been skipping steps, but every once in a while I'll throw in them steps. We're multiplying a half to both sides, or taking that 2 diagonally down, however you want to see that. So half of 8 is 4. Now we got it into the ax plus b, the absolute value. You see, we got it into that form that we need to get in. I could just call it standard form. Now we drop the absolute value. Oh, I guess I should say something before we do this. You notice which way, remember, that's pointing to the right, so we're going to use that word, or. Okay, so we need to remember that, or. Okay, pointing to the right. Okay, so that's one of the equations. And then remember, we want to use the word or here. And then rewriting it again, 3 minus z. This time we flip the inequality and make it negative. Okay, so now we have our 2 inequalities. And we're going to solve for z in both of them. Okay, so we're going to do that. And we got z, remember that's a minus. Now see it as a negative, is greater than or equal to 4, subtracting 3 from both sides. Okay, so we have negative z is greater than or equal to 1. Now, of course, we want that coefficient of z to be positive, so we're multiplying through by negative 1 to both sides, and so now z, we have to flip that inequality, right? So negative 1 to both sides. Okay, we flipped inequality, and it makes that a negative 1. So z is less than or equal to negative 1. Okay, z is less than or equal to negative 1. Now let's take a look at the right side. All right, and if you don't mind, I'm just going to draw a divider down through here. Okay, so we have negative z is less than or equal to. Now we're going to subtract 3 from both sides, right, once again. And so now we're left with negative z is less than or equal to negative 7. Once again, multiplying negative 1 to both sides, we have z. Flip the sign now. We got to flip that inequality, and now we have z is greater than or equal to 7, multiplying by -1 to both sides. Okay, z is, what do we have here? Z is greater than or equal to 7. I was just checking that, making sure. Alright, now what we want to do is go ahead, let's draw a number line so we have a picture to look at. Okay, picture to look at. Pictures are worth thousands of words, I promise. Alright, taking a look at this, we have z is less than or equal to -1. So let's go ahead and plot -1 on our number line, just arbitrarily pick a point. And then z is greater than 7, so we'll arbitrarily pick a point here. Okay, so z is less than or equal to -1. So we put a closed circle because we include -1 and everything to the left of -1. Let's make this one green. Z is greater than or equal to 7, so we include 7 and everything greater than or equal to. Now, the key is, remember, the key is this word or. Okay, so we're using the word or, remember. Now, or means we're going to include, right? It could be either in this set or this set here. So let's go ahead and write this in interval notation. We're going from -infinity to -1. We use brackets because it's a filled-in circle and we include it. Union. Union means we're joining both of these sets together in a union. Okay. Alright, so there you go. Now, that's interval notation. Right, you can just keep it in this notation if you want. Okay, or write it in interval notation. Okay, so that ends this problem here. Remember, you can always catch me at my YouTube channel, wherever this happens to be posted.